It's a summer baby boom of the very worst kind.
Okay, oh, it's a song for the spiders to get down
they're getting it on.
To.
That's right. Spiders have romance.
They do. They've got to find the love. Well, all this rain and humidity means you might start hearing the pitter-patter of 8 tiny feet. The wet weather sparking a spider breeding bonanza. Dan Rumsey from the Australian Reptile Park joins us now, and he's brought some unwelcome mates with him. Good morning to you. Nice to see you, buddy.
Thanks for having us in.
In the last couple of weeks, there has been an explosion of spiders around our place, the huntsman in particular. Yeah. Even last night, my daughter ran up and said, "Dad, can you go get this spider?" And my mum had to go down and look after it. Because I hate them. I hate them. But why? What's the reasoning behind it?
Yeah, well, I guess it's just last year was quite dry, and this year we're experiencing really strange weather, particularly down here in New South Wales, with really warm and lots of rain as well. So as the humidity increases, spiders are starting to boom again. They're really trying to make up for a poor couple of dry years.
So those giant huntsmans that are appearing in all our houses, we've got one on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Why are they so big? Like, have they been hiding for a year and eating or something? Like, what's going on? They seem bigger than ever.
They do grow pretty large, and I guess if conditions are right and there's plenty of food around, they're going to continue to grow, but they're not all of a sudden going to grow grantic and take over people or anything like that, so don't worry about huntsmans too much. But they turn up in some really strange places. So you talk about bathrooms. The worst, I reckon, when you encounter like a big huntsman in your car. Like, how does it get in there? But they do turn up in some strange places. But they're not dangerous to humans.
But they can attack you. I've been attacked by one.
Yeah, I think they can, if they're flighty and they try to jump away or, as you said, nearly land on you. But don't worry about huntsmans too much, because they're good to have around, because they'll feed on other invertebrates, but they'll even potentially feed on other spiders as well.
Like the redback. So my brother-in-law, he was bitten by one the other night when he was asleep.
Wow. Has he got superpowers now?
No, that's what my brother said. He woke up like... Anyway. But he had to get taken to hospital. Very painful bite from a redback.
Yep.
And you have to be aware of it, don't you?
Definitely. We've got some pretty dangerous spiders in Australia, and the Sydney funnelweb, or the funnelweb spider in general, would be an example of one of those, and we've got that walking around here. Now, up until 1981, there'd been at least 14 recorded deaths from male funnelweb spider bite. Thankfully, no one has died from a funnelweb spider bite since then, since the introduction of the antivenom program that obviously we play such a very big part in. But I tell anyone that you should always be familiar with the spiders that are endemic or live in the region that you live in. Familiarise yourself with them, learn about them, and know how to stay away from them, I guess.
Because these funnel webs, I mean, you could kind of mistake one for a huntsman at a distance, I guess. I mean, you couldn't, but they're not dissimilar.
No, definitely, and that's the best thing. If you do see a spider, it's always best to leave them alone. Now, if you want to remove the spider, obviously, from your house, now, in case of a funnelweb spider, we need male funnelwebs. So, not for kids, obviously, to do, but if adults can catch the spider for us and drop it off to the reptile park, we milk it, and that's turned into antivenom, which saves lives.
It takes a fair bit of courage in order to do that. I'd be more inclined to... I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'd be inclined to hit it with a shoe, to be honest with you, or half a can of Peebo.
Yeah, well, obviously, I won't advise people to do that, but if you can catch them if you can catch them and get them outside, that's probably the best step.
What about that? How do you do that? Because my mum's got this. She gets an ice cream container and whacks a piece of paper. But then you got to have your hand there, and it's like
I can't get through the cardboard.
What do you mean?
Yeah, well, probably wouldn't put a bit of paper under a funnel web, because they've got really large fangs and they'd be able to bite through them. And I was actually watching a really funny video. You know those inspired unemployed guys? They were funny, catching a huntsman out of the house today. They did a pretty bad example of it, but it was pretty funny to watch. Now, in case of a funnel web, they can't bite through something like this, so clear plastic jar, and they also can't climb that. So if I was going to catch this funnel web, I would simply just place it in the jar, and we're all good.
It's disgusting.
And that's as simple as that. It's obviously not going to jump up or anything like that, so I can put the spider back there. It's rearing up, but
Oh, the poor thing. And these ones, where do you find them mostly? It's got the shoe out. That's a
bad enough,
fancy
they're
RM,
almost
isn't it?
snakeskin replica, but no, you don't use those boots.
Where do you find these? They kind of get under the edges of things.
Definitely, and that's where you'll usually encounter a redback spider, but where you might encounter something like a funnel web would be just active in your backyard. Always check your skimmer box. Maybe if you leave your shoes at the back door, potentially they'll hide in shoes. And I guess the only other thing too is just know your first aid treatment.
What do you do?
Yeah, so for a funnel web, it's the same as our snake bite treatment in Australia. Pressure bandage on the bite site, and obviously seek immediate medical attention. For a redback, cold compression on the bite site. website. So there's plenty of information online that you can look up. Head to the Reptile Park website. We have plenty of info about that too, but it's always good to familiarise yourself with first aid for spider bites or snakes.
They've got anti-venom at most hospitals now, don't they? And doctors' surgeries and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, at all hospitals anyway, particularly for the spiders that live in that region. So as I said before, no one's been killed by funnel web for almost 40 years.
Is there anything you can do if you live in the country and you're not that close to there's isolated properties and all that sort of stuff? Or is there something you can do there?
Definitely always speak to your local hospital because they will carry the anti-venom for the animals in that region.
Yeah.
If you are bitten, as long as you stay calm, apply the appropriate first aid, that gives you lots of time.
What if
you think you would be staying calm?
What if there's no way in the world that you're going to stay calm?
You're going to die. No, I'm not joking.
You
You're
pump
going
the
to die.
venom through your body.
Just, take a few deep breaths, put on some Marvin Gaye and just get to hospital, all right?
OK, do we have any Marvin Gaye?
There he goes.
It's so weird. It's a segment on spiders.
Do you know what? Every time I hear that song now, I'm going to think about
spiders.
Thanks for that.
Thank you.
I used to like that song.
Oh, that was a good song.
Thanks, Dad.
Did you ever do that when you were a kid? Trying to be Spider-Man? Like...
Yeah, my kids do too.
Anyway.
It never gets old.